Hello, good evening, Asia. Hello, everyone who joining us today. My name is George. I'm a CEO at the agency College Recruit. We are the consulting company that help student athlete coming to US for high school or colleges to follow their dreams. And today we have a privilege to have Coach Tommy. I have a privilege to call him Coach Tommy, right? With us today from Life University men's soccer team. And before we get to him, I just want to welcome everyone who joined the call today. It's all about soccer today, and you will learn a lot about Tommy life experience when he's growing up, as a soccer player in Thailand, in UK, and came all the way to US for university and soccer and NCAA, NAA. So everything that you need to know about your child, your families, so that way you can learn through his personal experience. But Tommy is not only a coach as a guest speaker today. He was our client about 4 years ago, and also his mother, Kun Jum, that many of you have met before, also on our team as well. So it's not that distant, just a coach. He's a family, AR family, and we want to welcome back Tommy and also congratulate him for new position in new endeavor that he's gonna take on in the near future as a coaching staff at Life University. With that, I just want to have a housekeeping in mind that please, everyone, keep your microphone mute, right, during the session. Keep your question intact because at the end, we're going to ask Coach Tommy to have Q&A. If you like to type the question in the chat room, please feel free at any time. We're going to take on those questions at the end of the session. And also, we want to be very casual today. Ask any question, ask anything. As I mentioned to you, he's one of our, AR family members that, he will give you a guidance and everything based on his personal experience to his life. With that, I want to ask my team member to introduce themselves. We have Kun Jiep, Manipon, my own sister. Her son also in the soccer, client, and also NCAA division as well. Please introduce yourself. Hello, PTF.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Hi, Tommy. Yeah, congratulations on your new work, new position. And I've been knowing Tommy for a long time since we were in school with my son, and hope that you have enjoy your new work and everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, good. And your own dear mother, Kun Jum.
Hi everyone. I'm Jum. I'm Tommy's mother, and my privilege that to say thank you to Kun George that for our opportunity that Coach Tommy that that he's not going to become to be a coach or to becoming a scholarship if Kun George doesn't help us. So I just would like to thank you again, and also that I'm very proud that Tommy is find his own way and looking forward his future, his new chapter.
All right. Well, thank you for the privilege to be with your families, and also now you're joining us as a senior advisor. Well, thank you again for helping next generation. All right, Tommy. With that, with all those introductions, it's all about you, sir. Now I have a privilege to call you Coach Tommy. All right. Why don't we start with your pathway? Right? Why you choose soccer? How you get started to play soccer?
Well, it was kind of always a part of my life. just kind of got introduced to it at a young age, really young age, especially by my dad, my dad also loves the game of football, and I feel like that's how I kind of just started doing it. And you know, from a young age, I knew that I was quite good. I knew I was very good, and for a long time, especially for most of my life so far, I thought that that was going to be what I was going to do for the majority of my life. It's in terms of how I got to where I got, it was literally just because I dedicated so much time and effort towards it, and you know, it did pay off in some ways. So I would say that my pathway towards football was just a very, very honest one, and I'm glad it happened.
Okay, no, that's it. I mean, you did definitely. I mean, you put your hard work into it, you motivated, and you never give up, right? Along the way, I assume that you probably have a lot of up and down from, like, you know, U15 in you know, at Reading or national team in Thailand, a lot of that up and down, and you never give up.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, that if I really want to tell my experience of the game to people that interested in knowing, it is definitely very, very difficult in terms of like your mental health, your physical health. You have to make sure that all of these things kind of align, or else it is a struggle. And there was a large part of my life where I did not know what I was doing, really. I was just kind of lost and confused, even though people would say I was at the best stage of my career. All those things that I mentioned weren't aligned, and it did make playing football difficult, and I did lose my passion for the game for a long time. So it's important that you take care of these things, or else, as I've mentioned, it is a difficult struggle. But if you stay patient through it, you do become a better person at the end of it. So yeah.
Okay, it's good. So, I mean, you play soccer since you were young, and you got the highest level, right? The national team and stuff. So, what life when you moved to US? What the difference between from Thailand, from, you know, UK and US? You know, you remember like 4 years ago when you moved here for the first time? What's life like for you?
Yeah. As I said, for me personally, I can't really speak for everyone. Especially when I coach my players now, I mention this to them so they understand that for the first 2 years I was in the US, it was a very, very difficult time for me. I did not get along with everyone. I struggled to fit in, not in terms of I was just so different from everyone. And that was just me personally coming from where I came from. I grew up in you know, at a certain age, you kind of start to find out who you are. And living in England for, I think, 4 or 5 years, I started to think that I had already found my identity as a person. But that stayed with me, especially when I first moved to the US. So it was very difficult for me to get along with other people because I was very stubborn into opening up to people. But I think that's the biggest part of the whole US experience, is just finding out who you actually are. It's not, I mean, obviously we all go for the sport, and it's a privilege that you get to play at such a level. I mean, playing at a college level is You know, it's you have to look at that in admiration. You know, not a lot of people get to do that. But also at the end of the day, going to the US for me especially was just figuring out who I actually was as a person, and I found that out, which I'm really glad and proud of. So that's definitely the main thing in my opinion.
Okay, good. All right, so let's move to the opportunities, because a lot of us and parents on this call have their young childrens right now. Most of them are in high school, and they play soccer, training every day, all the stuff. Then they want to come to US for college. What is the difference between US college soccer and professional?
Yeah, that is still a question I'm trying to figure out myself, even as a coach and a player. I struggled a lot, especially when I first moved over here, in terms of the football we were playing, because it's a completely different game. I grew up playing with very technical players, especially at the academy level in England. You know, you're playing against the biggest teams in the world, the biggest academies, and everyone is just so technically so sharp. Whereas when I first moved to the US, everyone kind of just was the opposite. They were physically very sharp. Everyone was fit, strong. And I kind of spent a lot of my life as a footballer as a very technical
ส่งมา
player.
ให้เรื่องฟุตบอลอเมริกันเนี่ยลองเข้าไปดู
Okay, so I'm her already. So the difference between US soccer in general compared to where you grew up, it's a technical compared to physical game. Is that what you say?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. As I said, I spent so much time very focused on my technical side of the game, and in the US, you know, it depends where you go, obviously, but the team that I came to at Life University, we were very focused on the physical aspects of the game, and I didn't really have those qualities, so I didn't really shine as much as I should have, even though like people could see that I was technically maybe on a different level from everyone. Different teams in the US have different requirements, and physicality is definitely a big part of it. So, you know, it's taking care of your body, putting the extra work in the gym, stuff like that. It's very important if you want to succeed and thrive in the US college soccer world, if that's what I can say. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, all right, talk about soccer. All right, US gonna host World Cup in 2025, right? 4 years ago when you came here and the soccer now, have you seen any difference in terms of soccer in general here in US?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely, you can tell there's a lot more money being invested into it to spread the word. Even without the World Cup like coming to the US, you can already see that fans are definitely like pay a lot more attention to the footballing world, which when I first moved here was definitely not the case. Yeah, I think it's still different, and it's still not quite there compared to Europe. It's definitely hard because it's not a tradition here, whereas in Europe it's a tradition to the culture. But saying that, I think in the US, maybe in 10 years' time, it could be par on the same level, but you know, but there's definitely progress being made. So
Okay, good. So what would you advise for family from Asia, right? The kids play soccer. What should they be doing or prepare to get to US college soccer here?
it's definitely just understanding that this is a completely different world from the rest of the world that everyone, especially in Asia, you definitely have to be patient. And, I see a lot of people, I've met a lot of people, especially in my team, that they come and then they go very fast because they can't understand that idea that it is a different world, and sometimes that it doesn't meet people's expectations, or it's too much for them. They can't balance the school and training at the same time. So this is not professional football. People have to understand that, but it is still a very good level of football, and the same discipline is required, and the same time and effort is required to be put into it.
So, are there any difference? Like now you as a coach, right? You have to recruit players.
Yep.
Well, what is your 5 characteristic or a factor that you want to recruit that type of players?
Yeah, so we've actually already started our recruiting process for next season for our team. I mean, whether I'll still be the coach or not, that's a different question. But what I look for personally, I look at especially we watch a lot of film of players that they send in to us, and we also talk to them and we speak to them on the phone to just to get to know each other. One of the biggest things I look for is who they are as a person, because especially now being a coach, my number one priority is this person coachable, which is quite funny because my whole career as a player, I was not coachable. I was very stubborn and I only believed my way of playing. And now being a coach, I definitely look at that as the number one priority. Are you coachable? Do you listen? Are you able to take advice and criticism without, having an attitude or talking back? Because we don't tolerate that in our team for sure. You have to understand that the coach must be like, I'm still the same age as most players on my team, but when they're on the field, they respect me as a coach, and when we're off the field, they still treat me as a friend, which I really, really enjoy. And that's definitely what we look for as a number one priority when we recruit players: is are they a good person? Number 2, I look at their technical ability, how they touch the ball. Playing football for all these years, I can kind of tell from how they touch a ball or how they kick a ball, the little things, whether they will be useful to our program and have any impact. We also look at what they do off the ball. So, that is difficult, especially when people send in film and highlights. They only send in their best moments. But as recruiting process goes, we would rather watch a whole game of the player, for example, so we can watch what they do in moments when they don't have the ball or they make mistakes. We look at those sort of things. And we look at their grades and how they perform in school, because that's a huge part. My head coach now, my colleague, he always mentions that student comes before athlete, so you have to make sure that you perform in the classroom first before you perform on the field. So we also look at that, and I think those are the main factors that we look at when we recruit new players to our college team.
Okay, good. I think I got a few things from you there. Coachability, you're coachable or not. Second, you're technical. You watch from the film, and especially when you off the ball, so you see how they react. and the third one would be school, grade, and academic stuff that you need to
Yeah.
take. Okay, very good, very good. So, all right, let's start with this one. Now, like you came into the team, and you mentioned a few times that you were stubborn, just the way it is. So, as a coach, what do you think is someone that you recruit, someone like you, what coach should do for you, or do with you, or supporting you to be you right now? What did he help you? What Coach Alex helped you to be where you are now?
Yeah, that is a tough question. It is tough for me to explain it because I do feel personally that I'm a very unique individual, and it definitely took going through that whole the 4 years experience of being at college so far. Is, as I said, for the first 2 years I was kind of pushed out from the whole community. I was kind of like set aside because people were not too sure of who I was, and people were, they didn't really accept me. And Coach Alex especially, he was very strict on that. He didn't want that like culture being introduced into the team. And even though like he didn't really do that much in terms of a personal side of things, he made sure that he made me understood that this is a life-changing opportunity. Don't waste it. You can be stubborn, do all these things, but at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself. And it definitely took me that isolation away from everyone to finally understand who I wanted to be and what I want to do in life. So I think Coach Alex had a huge impact on me for sure. I could even say turned my life around. So yeah, it's definitely been a huge opportunity, huge experience, and I'm glad it happened.
We too. I think we all are. That's glad it happened. Let's see you grew up and become Coach Tommy. Right. So, all right. My last question before we open up for Q&A.
Yeah.
So, when are you coming to Asia to recruit Asian player?
We're hoping next year we can, for sure, because next year we have a completely new team. A lot of our players are graduating, so we need to start from zero again. And there's a lot of talent in Asia that it's not being looked at. So we want to be the first ones in to take that talent.
All right, Tommy. We're looking forward and see more Asian player on your team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay, good. All right. So with that, I want to open up this Q&A. Anybody have any questions? Raise your hand. You can raise your hand digitally on Zoom here, or you can just type your question in the chat room at the bottom, and then I can ask that for you. So I know there's many parents it's here, and your kid, your child is probably were Tommy. 8 years ago, like a lot of these parents, like 14, 15 years old, you can learn from Tommy, and he's one of you. That. All right. Any question? Open up the floor. Okay. So no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have one question ครับ
ครับ
Okay.
Yes, please. คุณประโมทครับ เชิญครับ
Yeah, so my son just went to US to learn and play soccer. Recently, I just want to ask whether what he needs to prepare himself. You need to be ready because I think he just been there for grade 11, right? And I think he has only 2 years, right? Before he moved to college, right? Or university. Just want to yeah, to ask for your suggestion. What you need to prepare to be the and what is because I understand that they have two options, right? Go to college or go to university. Yeah, just want to know and any guys from you. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just say for that, I mean, obviously your son is still young, but he also has to understand going to college is time for them to start taking responsibility for themselves, start to grow up, because a lot of kids that, especially at my university, time I'm here, that a lot of kids are not prepared for that, are not prepared to become their own.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Pardon? Yeah,
Yes.
just just make sure that you start early, you know, taking care, having a schedule, organizing your stuff, organizing your day, your time, because once you get into university, you do not have time to, you don't have a lot of free time. You always have a busy schedule with class, with training, with everything else. So it's getting into those good habits early of managing and organizing your time, taking responsibility for yourself, because you are living on your own essentially, and it's the first step of growing up into an adult. So I think that's important.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Well, thank you for a question. Any other question? If not, Tommy,
I think there's a question in the chat.
Oh, there's a question in the chat. Okay.
Go
ahead.
Jerry.
Go ahead. Take the question.
Why did I stop playing professional football, and why? To be honest with you, the reason why I stopped completely, obviously, circumstances were also a big factor. Obviously, with COVID struck and the lockdown came in, everyone kind of stopped doing anything. So I spent a lot of time just stuck in an apartment, just kind of figuring out what was going to happen with the rest of my life. And in that time I spent during the lockdown, I realized that as much as I loved the game of football, I didn't enjoy being a professional and what came with being a professional, especially in my situation. I just didn't feel like I had the passion to really sacrifice all the things needed to become a pro. And I think it's tough for people to understand, but the reality is it isn't really difficult to become a professional. That's not the hard part. It's remaining a professional and staying in the game for many years. That's definitely the hardest part. And I always thought when I came to the US that maybe I would go back to playing professional if I could find that love for the game again. And I couldn't as a player. I have now as a coach. I've definitely started to find my passion for the game again. But it is a huge part of definitely wanting to move on to that next part of being a footballer, is definitely having that passion, because it is cutthroat and it's very ruthless. And I mean, I'm glad that I left it when I did. I found a new path for me in terms of a career move, and I've left that in the past. So and I've learned from it, and I'm glad it happened. So yeah, that's why I gave it up personally.
Do you think, like, realistically at 16, is it still possible to go professional for it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there isn't I mean, there is a timeline, but there isn't a timeline as well. It's all about being in the right place at the right time, getting seen, and definitely in America, in the US especially, the whole college system is, they really want to push players to being in the MLS, and they like that whole farming system where they bring players up, and then through the college system it gives good exposure to both the colleges and the football teams. So I mean, at 16 is, in my opinion, too early. Don't get like you see on social media or different big teams in the world where players are going pro at such a young age. Like, don't let that demoralize you at all, because there isn't a timeline. It's just about, it could just be one moment and it could change everything. It's just make sure that when that moment comes that you're prepared, whether that's performing or whatever that comes with being a footballer. It's just being prepared for that moment when it does come, because it will come. It comes to everyone, and it's up to you then what you do with that opportunity.
Great. Okay. So thank you, Tommy. I'm gonna take a last question from Kun Anek. And this is could reflect this on you as well regarding to the scholarship and the budget that you need. So what the budget that need to prepare for study US, so with the soccer scholarship, I assume, and you can talk about that at live, and how many full ride scholarship you have, all those stuff. That's probably the best ideal. And then Kun Anek, Kun Jum can give her her contact info. You can contact Kun Jum if you want to talk more about the scholarship and the pathway. Kun Jum, can you please write your contact info in the chat room, please? All right, Tommy, scholarship. How much scholarship do they have here in US college?
Well, that depends where you are, obviously. I didn't go NCAA Division 1 because I didn't think I could at the time regarding my whole situation. So I came to the NAIA, which is still, people don't realize that it is a huge I don't even know what it is, a governing body compared to NCAA. The standard is the same, but unfortunately the budgets are not as big as Division 1 schools in NCAA. But at Life University, we still have quite a big budget. We can still offer, quite a lot of full rides. We do have a lot of walk-ons. We have a lot of people on, half their tuitions covered, stuff like that. So there is a big budget for it. And it's definitely not just about how good you are as a soccer player, because I've even spoken to quite a few people recently about this, that especially my new players, that I think Life University was probably one of my worst offers or lowest offers from other schools, but I still chose it because I thought this was the right place for me. So there are so many schools in the US that, there's money being invested into soccer now even more and more. So the opportunities for scholarships are definitely increasing. But as I said, it's not about just being a good soccer player. It's about everything. It's about being a good person, a good student. So that's what goes into account for when we are deciding how much we want to offer new players in terms of their scholarship money.
Good. That's remind me, Tommy. You say the right thing. It's all the way about right fit, where you feel fit the most. And I remember when we worked with you, I think you have multiple offer on the table.
Yeah.
And most of them are full ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
life didn't offer me.
And you chose live, right?
Yeah.
It's, that you feel like the right fit for you. With the city, with the major that you want to study. I remember now. you
Yeah, and it turned out to be the right decision. I mean,
yeah.
because yes, I was confused at first why I wasn't offered a full ride. You know, I've achieved more than anyone at the school has in terms of athletics. I was still playing for my country, and you know, players have got full rides on the team and I haven't. So I was like, you know, what's going on? Why have I not got a full ride? I've just come from playing a high level. I've taken a step down to play college soccer. But at the end of the day, you know, I looked past that. I just thought this was the right fit for me. And especially, yeah, at the time, the school, in terms of my schooling, yes, I wanted to go into, I do nutrition as a major. And I thought, yes, when I first got into here, I want to work in that sort of field. But as I said, you know, the whole college experience is just about finding out who you are. And now, you know, I'm so lucky because I want to be a movie director. I'm a writer, movie director, and I'm actually already started. I'm making my own movie at the moment that I've written. And Atlanta is the second biggest city in the world for movies. So I ended up in the right place anyway. So, you know, it all happened in good timing. I just had to be patient, had to go through all the bad stuff, and now it's starting to pay off for me. So
Great, wonderful. All right, well, Tommy, on that note, we're gonna finish this webinar. But thank you again for your time and you know everything that you stay true to yourself and you explain, help with the family, and really appreciate it, Coach Tom. All right,
anytime.
well,
all right,
thank you, Coach. Good luck. Have a good day,
guys.
everybody.
Appreciate
Thank you very much from Asia.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.